What's up, guys? We are back with another MonsterArts review, taking a look at the latest in all things highly articulated ape figures. We are, of course, taking a look at Kong from the recent Godzilla vs. Kong, a cinematic tour de force of everything amazing when it comes to kaiju, and I have really been looking forward to getting my hands on this guy, and of course Godzilla as well. So we've got him here in a pretty standard MonsterArts style box. You've got a really big shot of Kong there on the front of the package. You've got the blue and the yellow color scheme that goes with all the promotional artwork for this movie, and then you've got product shots on one side and just the nameplate on the other side panel, and then the back of the box is where we actually get the window showcasing Kong inside, along with our normal standard fare when it comes to Tamashii Nation stuff, with product shots showcasing how he moves and some of the stuff he comes with. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go. Out of the package, our legendary Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. Again, a movie that we watched in this house, I'm not going to say too many times because I absolutely loved it. So we watched it a lot, and I've really been looking forward to toys from this movie. And of course, a MonsterArts is definitely the way to go when it comes to getting something that is more articulated and very, very posable. And this guy is really well done. He has a lot of posing possibilities here. So let's see what he can do, see how he moves around. We've got a head that can look up about this far. It really is kind of locked based on his head shape, because he's got a really long head, as you can see here. It's really long, so he looks up a good bit. He doesn't look down too far, though, a little bit. And then you've got some tilt side to side. The neck does move in concert with that to help him. You can rotate that head around, but if you rotate it too far, it's one of those things where it looks really weird because, well, I mean, it'll do something like that, and that's not normal. Arms go out at the shoulders. They will rotate all the way around. There is a slight butterfly in there and a little bit of drop down. You've got a bicep swivel there. We've got double jointed elbows. They go about that far. And then you've got forearm swivel slightly. It's not much. It's just sort of the shimmy in the joint itself. You've got rotation and then hinge up and down, side to side on those wrists. We've got a interesting torso here. So he's got a cut up top, like right at the pecs. He goes backwards a little bit, forward, and you can sort of shimmy him side to side. A little bit of give as far as rotation, but not much. Then he's got an actual diaphragm cut too. So he goes backwards even further, forwards quite a bit. Of course, you know, for an ape, you want him to sort of lurch forward like that. And then you can rotate there as well and get a little bit of more sort of tilt side to side. He's also got his waist, which allows him to kick backwards and forwards. So you can get him to crunch over, you know, about that far. And it works really good, actually. It's surprising how many cuts are there to achieve that, but it helps to sort of keep some of that musculature, I don't know, not broken up really. It's broken up, but at the same time, it's cut right at those muscles, so it's not really too weird looking. Legs go out, basically do the, you know, the Skull Island splits there. Kick forward all the way. Kick backwards slightly. You do have a thigh swivel up there, kind of tight. We've got double jointed knees. And then down at the ankles, he's actually really, really well articulated. So you do have swivel side to side rotation. You've got rocker, and I should mention this now because of course I just did it. There is a big, big double ball peg in there. If you pop too far, it's gonna pop it out. So don't worry, you haven't broken your figure. But look what he can do with his ankle. I mean, that's like crazy, crazy rocker there. It moves honestly more than it would ever really need to, but you can go side to side like that. And then he's got kick backwards, basically making it perpendicular to the body, and then kick forward that way, which is, I don't know, that's some insane range right there. It's pretty wild what he's capable of doing down there, but it helps to move him, you know, in a little bit less than human fashion in some ways. So this guy is really well articulated, really not a whole lot to complain about on this one. The one area where he's sort of locked down is that head, but it's not really a big deal and it hasn't posed any actual issues for me. It really gets him into a good position. If you want him to just stand normally, he can look up well enough. And then of course, if you actually hunch him over like an actual ape or a gorilla, you know, he sort of has his head in the correct position lined up with the rest of his body. Now, as far as aesthetics go, there is and there isn't a lot to talk about with this figure. At a base level, I think he looks really good. Pretty happy with him. Colors are really nicely done. The sculpt is fantastic. I mean, he is obviously 100% covered in fur texture. So of course he's an ape, he's a gorilla, he has to be covered in sculpt. There's really not any smooth parts of the body except for like the hands, the feet, and then a little bit on the chest. You know, he's kind of bare chest, and he does have that big claw mark that runs across his pecs and down into the abs area. But the rest of the figure is just done up in tons and tons of really fine fur texture, and there is some wash in there, so the figure is mostly like a muddy color, like a super dark brown with a little bit of light brown in there mixed in there. It can be kind of hard to pick that up depending on how your lighting is, but he does have a lot more color to him than at first might meet the eye. He is not just a single solid color by any means. There is paint quite a bit all over this figure. The one thing that's going to be kind of striking about this guy, though, is just how small he is. And we'll do size comparisons here in a minute, but he's really small. And it's not, I'm not saying that in a negative sense, it's just sort of, well, he's small. He is actually shorter than an SH Figuarts Goku, if that gives you any idea. So there is a lot of sculpt and detail packed into a really small frame, but I think he looks fantastic. I think the short, squatty proportions work really good, because when you have him next to a Godzilla from the same line, he needs to not be as big. So he's going to be a decently sized figure within the line. So if you want something that's humongous for any line, then this is probably not the figure. But if you want a really nice looking MonsterArts Kong that fits within the line, then this guy has what you're looking for quite a bit. Tons of sculpt, great detail. The head sculpt I think is pretty fantastic. If you know, I can say a likeness, you know, if that's what it's going to be, the likeness to the actual render of Kong in the film, I think is pretty spot on. The expression on the face is nicely done. Not a lot of paint really on the head sculpt, so to speak. It's a lot of that solid brown, but the eyes are really clean and crisp, and the expression works here. It's really neutral, so if you just want to have him on your shelf, battle ready, this is the expression to go with. It's just a very stoic, don't mess with me kind of an expression, and I think he looks fantastic. You know, like I said, I don't have any experience with other Kong figures in the line, so this guy is a great way to get my feet wet, so to speak, and I think they did a great job. Sculpt is tremendous as far as all that fine fur detail, and the paint kind of overlay and wash on this guy really brings it out, especially when you get it under the right lighting circumstances. You'll see just how much of this figure is absolutely going to pop. And then as far as our size comparisons go, we've obviously got our MonsterArts Kong in the middle. This is a NECA King Kong. And then, of course, we've got our Figuarts Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, since I did mention the fact that Goku is actually taller than Kong. It's not much, but that gives you an idea of exactly how short he is, because Goku is not by any means a tall figure. Of course, Kong is a lot bulkier and beefier, but he's very similar in overall height. And then the NECA figure, I mean, he absolutely towers over him. It makes him look a lot bigger than he actually is. This is a very large figure to begin with, though, but he's not, you know, he's not 10, 11 inches tall, but he looks a lot bigger by comparison. Let's move this guy aside, and we'll do a 7-inch scale figure, another one. So here's Super 7, the Laughing Prince Adam, because he's back in my rotation. And then we'll take the Goku aside, and here is a 6-inch scale figure. So here is the classified Major Blood for comparison. So you can see that he is not really going to scale with really anything. He's not meant to scale outside of his own line by any means. So he's definitely a short figure. He's a stocky figure, and this doesn't, I mean, it doesn't really work, but at the same time, I don't plan on needing to scale him like that. So it's not a big deal for me personally. What really matters is this one. So here is our Godzilla and our Kong. So this is, of course, the Godzilla from the same line. So this is our new MonsterArts Godzilla, and you can see side by side that they do work. I think they're scaled pretty well. He's not super short and super tall by comparison here. They are relatively decently matched in terms of height. Of course, Godzilla has so much bulk on him, and then of course length when it comes to the tail that is going out of frame here. So within the confines of the MonsterArts line, I'm pretty happy with it. Again, when you sort of get him outside of that framework, you are going to sort of have to play around with it and just sort of fudge it to get it to work correctly. But these two, I think, scale pretty well together, and that's ultimately the goal here. Now, as far as accessories goes, Kong does not have a ton, but I think he has basically everything we need here. I don't really feel like I'm missing anything specifically. So we've got to start with the extra head sculpt, and of course, you know, just normal, pop it off, put it back on. It's just a ball peg. And I think this is my preferred of the two. I do like the stoic, just the base head sculpt, but this one is very impactful. Of course, it's him sort of roaring, yelling. It's an action style of head sculpt. So when you've got him duking it out with Godzilla, or, you know, whenever we get Mecha Godzilla, whatever you want to do, I think this one looks really good. Sculpt is fantastic. It's more of the same that we saw with that first head, so it's not overly saturated with paint, but I think the face has a nice finish to it. The teeth look really good. The open mouth look great. And it just works pretty much from all angles, from profile, from dead on. I am very happy with this one. It's likely going to be the one that I keep on him at all times. And then we've got some extra hands. So you get fists on him in the box. We get a set of gripping hands. So here's one of them. You get a set of gripping hands. We get a set of knuckle hands. So this is the style of hand you would use when you want to have him on all fours, when he's actually, you know, walking like a gorilla actually walks. Not necessarily just an upright posture, but on all fours. And then we get a set of open palm hands with sort of a just sort of flat, just sort of normal relaxed style hands. So you get 8 total hands, 6 extra hands. And then the most important accessory is, and I don't even know if this thing got a name, I don't remember, we get the axe. So of course this is the ancestral axe with the Godzilla spine for the blade. So basically Kong's Stormbreaker, if we're gonna get sort of, you know, referential about it. And I absolutely love this thing. I thought it was really cool in the movie. It's different. It's a fun take on this kind of weapon. You know, why is he able to stand his ground with these other, you know, not even arguably, just straight up more powerful monsters? He's got an axe made out of a Godzilla scale, so I absolutely love that. It's done up with a bone handle, which has some great dry brushing, nice detail in there, but the scale looks really good. It's got that deep sort of cobalt blue color, and then of course there's some silver in the middle as well. And it's definitely going to look good when he's going up against Godzilla, going up against Mecha Godzilla, or just when he's with Godzilla, you know, just standing alongside him on a shelf. It sort of ties the two of them together as far as continuity goes, which I do really like that. So this is a really cool accessory. It's the one thing I was most excited about being included in this box, because it's the cool factor for this particular version of Kong is that he has this monster axe, and I think they did a really good job with it. So yeah, overall, this little guy is a lot of fun, and that's really what it comes down to. He is a lot of fun. He is also a pretty small figure. Like I showed, there is a definite size factor when it comes to this guy. So if you're looking for a humongous ape figure, this is probably not it. But if you're looking for a highly posable, really well-detailed version of Kong, this is it. And I think Bandai did a really solid job with him. I think he looks fantastic with Godzilla. And honestly, I'm just happy to have this guy in hand and be able to pose him and throw him outside, put him into some actual outdoor settings and make it look cool. And he comes, of course, with, you know, the legendary Monsterverse Stormbreaker axe, basically. And I absolutely love that. I think the extra head sculpt is really well done. And they gave him a nice set of hands as well, just to bring it all together. He does have a solid array of accessories, which I think offsets the fact that he's kind of on the smaller side. He looks fantastic wielding that axe, and I'm really happy with pretty much everything going on here. He's going to make a fine addition to just about any monster-based shelf. So that's going to do it for this look at the SH MonsterArts Kong. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.